Good afternoon, everyone. I hereby call this first regular session of the Senate. Today is March 17, 2023. It's currently 5:39 p.m. on a Friday afternoon. Before we take a roll call for the viewing audience, we are live on Channel 23 and also on YouTube. May we please take a moment of silence? Thank you. Clerk, please take the roll.
Senator Babauta,
Here.
Senator Cruz, Senator Cruz. Here. Madam President,
Here.
Senator Hofschneider, Senator King Neighbors, Senator Magofnia,
Here.
Senator Manglonia Donald,
Here.
Senator Manglonia Paul, Senator Mindiola.
Here.
Madam President, all 9 members are present.
Thank you. All 9 members are present for the Senate session. Quorum is well established. Let the record reflect that the senators from Tinian are appearing via Zoom. Senator Schneider, Senator Neighbors, and also Senator Cruz. Moving right along on the agenda on item B for public comment. If there's anyone in the gallery that would like to make a public comment, you may please come up. State your name, and if you have any written comment, you may also hand it over to the Sergeant at Arms. I guess there's no public comment, so that's officially closed for this agenda this afternoon. Item C, reading and approval of the journal. None. Item D, messages from the governor. Clerk.
We have one, Madam President, 23-56, the revision to the Appropriation Budget Authority Act for FY 2023.
Any comments from the members? None. Communications from the judiciary on item E, there's none. Item F, communications from the heads of executive departments, none. Item G, communications from the House. Clerk.
Madam President, we have the House Communication 2314, transmitting the House Concurrent Resolution 231.
Thank you. Any comments from the members? There's none. Item H, communications from the Senate. Clerk.
Madam President, 1, Senate Communication 2392.
Comments from the members? Recognize Senator Donald Manglonia.
Thank you, Madam President. And just to note for the record that my notice was dated up until the 19th that I had come back earlier. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Senator Donald. We shall reflect that on the record. Item I, communications from Washington delegate. There's none. Item J, unfinished business. There's none. Item K, pre-filed bills, initiatives, local bills, and resolutions. Recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. We have none.
Thank you. Item L, introduction of bills, initiatives, local bills, and resolutions. Floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. We have none.
Thank you. Item M, reports of standing committees. There's none. Reports of special conference committee on item N. There's none. Moving on to item O, resolution calendar. I now recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Under resolution calendar, our first resolution is House Concurrent Resolution number 23-1 to approve revenues and resources of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands as identified pursuant to Article 3, Section 9A of the Constitution, as amended and 1 CMC Division 7 for fiscal year 2023, effective upon the passage of this resolution and ending on September 30, 2023, to reflect proposed revisions to the FY 2023 Annual Appropriations Act enacted as Public Law 22-22. Madam President and members, I move for its adoption.
There has been a motion to move for the adoption of House Concurrent Resolution 23-1 and has been seconded. At this moment, I would like to open it for under discussion, and I would like to recognize our fiscal analyst, Mr. Dave Demapon, to walk us through the process of the revision of this House Concurrent Resolution 23-1. Dave, you may proceed.
Thank you, Madam President. As I report to you the figures on the House concurrent resolution, I must say at this point that once this concurrent resolution is voted and approved by this body, it would then become a public policy. And that will set the limits for expenditures for FY 2023 from $109.7 million that was enacted in FY 2023 under Public Law 2022-22, Public Law 22-22 to $121.6 million for this fiscal year. Madam Chair, once this bill is House concurrent resolution is adopted, then both houses, the House and the Senate, will then work on the revision for FY 2023 enacted budget. Now let me go into the presentation of the figures from pages 3 and 4 of the bill. On page 3, you see that approximately $164,198,068 are identified by the governor for the budgetary resources for FY 2023. From that amount, there will be some deductions from 4 revolving accounts. One, reserving $221,523 from the CIQ overtime. Number 2, reserving $200,000 from revenue and taxation for enforcement. Number 3, reserving $756,446 for solid waste fund. And number 4, reserving $183,949 for developers infrastructure tax. And moving on to page 4 of the bill, now we are reserving for debt service payments for 5 accounts, reserving $3,619,500 for Series 2007A refunding bond payment, reserving $3,313,500 for Series 2007B refunding bond payment. Also reserving $36 million for the settlement fund on the payment for the 75% retirees pension benefits, and reserving $2,806,600 for the Bank of Guam loan in anticipation for the pension obligation bond. And the final reservation for a debt service payment from MPLT is reserving $822,753. And all of these deductions from the earmark funds of the 4 accounts that I identified earlier, together with the debt service payments for the 5 accounts, amounts to approximately $48,004,271. We take this number and we subtract it out from the 164 million. It comes out to approximately $116,193,797 available for appropriation before the DPO revenue estimates. So when we add the DPO revenue estimates of $5,407,896, we arrive at the total available for appropriation of $121,601,683. As indicated earlier, Madam Chair, that once this body adopt and vote for this concurrent resolution, it would then set the limits for the expenditure for FY 2023. And now we have $121.6 million available for operation for this fiscal year as amended. Madam Chair, that is my report to you, and thank you. Madam President.
Thank you for the detailed analyses and comments on that, Mr. Dave Demapan. Is there any comments from the members? I recognize Senator Donald Manglona.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, Dave Demapan. In addition to the changes that were explained by our fiscal analysts, I just want to point out there are additional information added to the resolution, which can be found on page 2, starting from line 8. Whereas the current administration noted that after 18 months from receipt of the American Rescue Plan Act funds, the funds have already been expended and are unavailable for the remainder of fiscal year 2023. Whereas ARPA funds that were intended as the funding source of 20% for the personnel and operations costs within the executive branch are no longer available.
Thank you, Senator Donald Manglona. Any other comments from the members? No
Sorry,
comment.
Madam President.
Recognize?
With the advice of council, I'll just continue on with the further changes to the House version of the concurrent resolution. On the same page, on page 2, we are changing, on line 2, we are changing the amount from 104 million to 150 million. Page 5, or line 5, we are changing the total amount to 164, 198 and $68, less earmarks of 48 million 4,271, and then line 6 from 162 million 836,151 to 116 million 193,797. Further down the line, further down the page on line 19, we're adding that the executive branch will be on a temporary 72 hours per pay period. Page 3, line 2, we are adding earmarked funds unless to yes, and then on line 6, we are correcting the date to 2023. Yes, sorry, thank you, and that's about it.
Thank you, Senator Donald Manglona, for those stated amendments to the House Concurrent Resolution 23-1. Any other comments from the members? If none, I would like now to recognize the floor leader to make the proper motion for the, recognize Senator Cruz. Council?
suspended in the Public Law 22-22. And when it says previously appropriated, we didn't appropriate money for this four item. I just want to clarify from the council whether this is appropriate to be inserted in this concurrent resolution.
If I understand your question correctly, the total number that was identified by the governor is 164,198,068, and there are certain numbers or earmarks that are added in addition to the CIQ over time. So those numbers have to be taken off from the top number, and it reduces it down, and that's the total amount of 48,004. And in Public Law 2222, the only earmark that was showing is the CIQ. And Dave, correct me if I'm wrong. The others are additional in this concurrent resolution. So it gives a total of 48. The earmark and the earmark from the amounts that's going to be removed from the top number is 48,004,271.
If I may interject, Council, I think the question is asking whether the language of previously appropriated is appropriate language to be inserted on page 3, on line 3. I believe that is the question of the senator. Is that correct, Senator Cruz?
We may have to change the word because I think CIQ is the only one that's showing under 2222. And maybe previously appropriated can be, I guess we can change it so that because three or four items are new, so it wasn't in the original budget act that was passed. So maybe previously appropriated is not an appropriate word, but if you just rely on the numbers and not the word, it still makes sense, unless there's a recommendation to change the word previously appropriated. Maybe previously appropriated and the new items that are added as earmarks.
Recognize Senator Cruz.
Council, yeah. So
Can you check your mic?
items are not consistent with the previous concurrent resolution, what you're stating, the language that is stated on line 2 to line 3 on page 3, it says service previously appropriated. So I'm trying to understand whether you're referring to the previous items that are being appropriated, because if you're talking about these four items, they are suspended. That's what I'm trying to understand, whether it's appropriate to insert items in there even though it's not on the previous concurrent resolution.
I totally understand the question. So how do we fix it when Public Law 2222 only has CIQ, but this concurrent resolution is adding further reductions from the top number?
Short recess, Madam President.
Short recess, please. back from recess. Senator Cruz, please state your motion.
The appropriate language, by the local council.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded for the appropriate language to be removed on page 3 and on line 3, and also page 4 on line 1. Is there any further discussions on those deleted languages on the concurrent resolution? None? All right. I would now recognize the floor leader to make a motion on all the amendments offered on the concurrent House Resolution 23-1.
Thank you, Madam President. With the said amendments made by the fiscal analyst and Senator Cruz, we do have House Concurrent Resolution 23-1 SD1, a House Concurrent Resolution to approve revenues and resources of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands as identified pursuant to Article 3, Section 9A of the Constitution as amended, and 1 CMC Division 7 for fiscal year 2023. So move.
There has been a motion and has been seconded to accept all the necessary changes on House Concurrent Resolution 23-1. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Babalka,
Yes.
Senator Cruz, Senator Hofschneider,
Good.
Senator King Neighbors. Yes. Senator King Neighbors. Senator Magofnia,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Donald,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Paul, Senator Mindiola,
Yes.
Madam President,
Yes.
Madam President, all 9 members voting yes.
With all 9 members voting yes for all the offered amendments. Any further discussions? Nothing? I would now recognize the floor leader to make the appropriate motion to vote on House Concurrent Resolution 23-1 in the form of SD1. Floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to adopt the amendments made to House Concurrent Resolution 23-1 to now 23-1 SD1. So move.
It has been moved and seconded to adopt the House Concurrent Resolution 23-1 in the form of SD1. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Babalka,
Yes.
Senator Cruz, Senator Hofschneider,
Yes.
Senator King Neighbors,
Yes.
Senator Magofnia,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Donald,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Paul, Senator Mindiola,
Yes.
Madam President,
Yes.
Madam President, all 9 members voting yes.
With all 9 members voting yes for the adoption of and the passage of House Concurrent Resolution 23-1 SD1 hereby passes the Senate. Moving on to the agenda. On item P, under Bill Calendar, I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. We have none.
Thank you. On item Q, petitions, memorials, and miscellaneous communications. Clerk?
Madam President, we have miscellaneous communication 2314 from the Legislative Bureau regarding the revision to the Appropriation Budget Act of 2023.
Any discussions from the members? None? Item R, announcements? None? Now I recognize the floor, recognize Senator Donna Manglonia.
Thank you, Madam President. In light of the recent passage of the House Bill 23-31 HS1, the committee will be scheduling a meeting, possibly in order to meet the 72 hours, and in consideration of the public hearings held on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're looking at scheduling a meeting for Friday to go over the. Oh, sorry. I'll send a notice out by tomorrow if the LB can post it up tomorrow. So we'll schedule it for Wednesday then, since Friday's a holiday, so that the committee can go over the House version of the budget bill. I know it's a substitute, and so we'll be discussing the changes made as well as any additions to what the governor had proposed. And so if members can reserve Wednesday next week. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Senator Donald Magnolia. Any other announcements from any members? None? I now recognize the floor leader for the adjournment of the session.
Thank you, Madam President. I offer a motion to adjourn this session subject to the call of the president.
Do I hear a second? All those in favor say aye. Nays? This meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you, senators. Have a good weekend.